Houston, our instruments are showing that we have a incoming message from deep space. Repeat, Houston, we have an incoming message from deep space. Houston, we'll begin playing message now. Houston, we're going to try and translate that up here. Hold for translation. Translation complete. We'll begin playing message now.
Hey, it's me, Melissa.
What do you do when the aliens invade? Take a shot of MK Ultra and watch Melissa Jade. Put on your tinfoil hat and tune right in. We got that crime spree, flat earth theories, government conspiracies, a complex Mandela effects, unidentified objects of mind expanding, fake moon landing, where it all bends understanding. It's me, Melissa. It's me, Melissa. Aliens is on the sun, or in Area 51. Time travels, unravels, haunted castles, cops are baffled, potential experimental thoughts that make you transcendental. It's me, Melissa. It's me, Melissa. Crime sprees, flat earth theories, government conspiracies, complex Mandela effects, unidentified objects of mind expanding, fake moon landing, what it all bends understanding. It's me, Melissa. It's me, Melissa.
Hello, all of you fabulous freaking people. Hello, Rora. We have my meat feet. We have creative minds who let meat feet out of the cellar. Hippie Chick, Natasha, Tony, Debbie Doodles, Harlot, People Me, Julian, Grateful Mama, Laced Lemons. We have Healing Nature. We have Dogma, My Snot Rocket. We have Julian, Chloe. We have Crime Crochet Coiffee, Abellis, Musicity Mom, Simply Complex, Neat Noodle. Neat Noodle says, give me the finger and hit that thumbs up. Queen of Hearts, Melanie, Riddle, Grandma CC, Steph B, Darlene. Hi, Darlene. Riddle Me This, Jen Gilcher, Blue. Let me see. Amanda. Yes, and if you missed my first live, hi, Queen of Hearts, Kim, Tony, JMs, Hazel Eyes. Hello, everybody. If you missed my earlier live, it was a really good live because it's covering a really interesting case, and I'm going to probably be doing another live tomorrow on it because I have been digging and picking, and shout out to Deets because she's been helping me since the live ended. And it's very fascinating and it's very interesting. And I got some more information that I think you guys will be interested in. Okay. So definitely go check that out. Also, if you did not just watch the live over on Allie, she just had a conversation with Deets on the street. And it was a really amazing conversation. And she did a really amazing job. And both of those ladies are just amazing, beautiful ladies. So definitely go over and check that out. It is over on Allie's channel, but I will also be dropping Deets' channel also. What time tomorrow for what, Julie? Will I be doing another live on the case from today? If so, I'm not sure because I didn't schedule it yet. I would love to, and I know Deets was talking about doing it and like getting together and talk. So I'm going to talk to her about it to see if she wants to do it together but I would really love to because Noah deserves more coverage, and that case, it's heartbreaking. It really, really is. It's really, really sad. Thanks, Neat Noodle. I think that's so adorable how you say that. It's such a good idea. But before we start our live for tonight and go into part 3 of the interview with John Grusing and Leticia and analyze her body behavior and pointing out lies. Let me pull this up. Our missing child for tonight. Oh, thank you, Daleen, for being a member for 14 months. That is so amazing, so kind. Thank you so much. So our missing child for tonight's live, his name is Abdul Aziz Khan. He has been missing since November 27th, 2017 out of Atlanta, Georgia. He would be 13 years old now. Abdul's photo is shown age progressed to 13 years. He was allegedly abducted by his mother, Rabia Khalid, on November 27th, 2017. A felony warrant for kidnapping was issued for Rabia on January 2nd, 2020. Abdul may go by his middle name, Aziz. Rabia may use the last name Bergos, and I apologize if I'm not pronouncing that correctly. So here he is. Look at those cheeks. And here is an age progressed photo of him. And so here is Rabia. She is 39 years old, and she is the suspect. So if you or anyone you know has information on their whereabouts, please contact the U.S. Marshals New Orleans Task Force at the number located in blue, or the Atlanta Police Department at the second number located in blue. So once again, this is Abdul. So he is our missing child for tonight's live. He is a handsome young man. Hi, fragile like a bomb. So we will circle back around to Abdul at the end of the live. But here we are, guys. We are going to be going into part 3 of the interview with Grusing. And oh, do we love ourselves some John Grusing. Okay, he is just chef's kiss. All right. Steph. Thank you, Steph. That's awesome. Steph just gifted 5 memberships. Please thank Steph if you just received a membership. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much. Congratulations to our newest members. Welcome, welcome. I love seeing the green. Thank you so much. Chris, bullshit. I'm sorry. I love you. But nobody says Melissa Jade's voice is how they calm down. I amp motherfuckers up. I do not calm you down, okay? Don't lie to me. But thank you, and I love you, Chris, but don't lie, okay? Hi, Caleb. Hey, Amber. Hi, Stacy Bobasi. Fragrant Anxiety. So, let pull this up. Okay, so where we had last left off when we paused yesterday. Yay, Melanie. Melanie says, I so love the gift and I appreciate it, Steph. I'm gay. I do, Mrs. Bendover. I hope she's pretty. No, but that's sweet. Thank you. I am JM. You guys, stop. Tell me more. No, I'm serious. We're going into part 3. This is a 4.5-hour interview, okay? And it's actually technically longer because at a certain point, Leticia makes John Grusing leave the interview room, and she only says she will disclose information to him when it's not recorded and nobody is witness to it, which he does, okay? This is how desperate they wanted to recover Ganon. But this is a 4.5-hour interview. We are 1 hour in. 1 hour in, okay? And let me be clear, the second half of this interrogation is when shit pops off, okay? So we are leading into that. Where we paused yesterday. Oh, I'm sorry you had a bad day, Blue. Oh, if I've had a bad day, I can't wait to watch your live. Well, that does mean a lot. So I'm glad that I'm able to do that for you guys. Hi, Chicken Shite. Mwah! So, when we paused yesterday, because we watched Leticia dance around all of the questions Grusing did try to ask. Oh, dog mom. We're addicted to you too. Right, Stacey Bobisi? It becomes very apparent and easy to see. Grusing asked her about the hike. So we are about to start from the night prior to the murder, which was the Sunday, 26th of January, into that Monday. So that is where we stopped, where we knew that, all right, we're getting into the actual events. And this is when we're really going to see that uncomfortable shift of Leticia, because anytime Grusing even tries to go into territory that makes her uncomfortable, we're seeing physically a lot of signs from Leticia where she is lying, she is not comfortable, and she's desperately trying to grab control of the conversation and the flow of it. So that's where we last left off, and we're going to pick right back up from there. B Crumbs, do you see Roro? Hi, Angel D. And yes, honey, we love when Tisha's uncomfortable. Okay, Melanie.
Until the next day. And so then we had, I think I was upstairs, Harley wasn't there because Harley had to work until Junction Yard like this. Mm-hmm. Harley had to work until, I think it was like maybe 10, 15 years, so whatever. And then Ganon had, I think, what was he doing? He was doing something, I don't remember. So I go back upstairs, and I hear the machine was saying, like, beep, 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 like, is someone was coming in the house.
Okay, so this is literally where I paused, right here. So, oh, you didn't beat Crumbs. Roro gets stuck in the upside down every once in a while. You just got to kind of summon her up. She's down there with Barb, the FBI agent. So, Leticia is referring to the fire, aka the candle incident that happened the Sunday prior to Ganon's murder. Now, I don't like to go too much into the events of the murder itself because I don't like to rehash it. But just for context, please keep in mind, we still to this day do not know. It's the upside down. I upset Barb, guys. We still do not know exactly how the events played out to this day. What we do know is that Ganon sustained injuries even Sunday evening. And I do believe that the first attempt on Ganon may have occurred on Sunday evening. And a lot of people do believe that based on the evidence. So Sunday is almost just as significant as Monday. It all within that 24-hour period is extremely significant. And hey, ATS News.
So I put the code in thinking that the live alarm thing went off. There was no doors open or, none of that stuff. No doors open. So then I go back where Lena was at, and I see she was faking sleeping, but not really sleeping. And then, but she had like the cover over her head a little bit. And so like she was doing like whatever. And so then I hear the thing saying fire. Like
Does it actually say fire?
It said fire.
Okay.
So that was the crazy thing because I never had heard.
Adjusting
I didn't know
herself.
what. I thought it would just be like.
Right, like a siren.
But I don't know if it was those detector things saying fire or if it was the actual machine thing saying fire. But it was just like fire, 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 whatever. So then I run back in there and I look and I don't see anything language, or I don't see anything. And I look downstairs and I don't see anything. And it was still going.
Hi,
so
Lisa.
I grabbed Lena. I'm going to tell you exactly wrong, but I'm pretty sure I grabbed Lena first. And I grabbed the dog. I gave her the keys. I think that's how it went. Don't quote me on that, but I'm sure it was in that order. So yeah. And we run out to the truck. I feel like either I open the door. I don't remember. Somehow they get to the truck.
Okay.
And then I run back downstairs because at this point I already know that there's smoke. And so I run back downstairs and and Deanna was awake but not awake. Like, you know how you can almost like
maybe
be asleep but not asleep type thing.
So he was in his bed?
No. He wasn't in his bed.
Where was
he? He was on the sofa.
On the sofa.
Right. So he was on the sofa. And so like when I pull the cover, I pull Ganon with the cover. And so at this point in time, then I put the fire that's out.
So what did the fire look like?
It wasn't like huge.
Where was it? In the carpet? On the sofa?
What the fuck did the fire look like, Leticia? You know, it wasn't like huge. Okay, yeah, got it. What did the fire fucking look like, though? Watch now. Here is what's interesting, okay? And this is why I do like, right, fragrant anxiety. I do like observing this because we still don't know. They never drove Stacy Bobasi. Here's the thing. They got into the vehicle. They never drove anywhere. We still don't know the events of what occurred, though. What we do know is the evidence. The evidence shows that there is candle wax on the carpet and the couch. The candle was still intact. Part of the carpet was cut out and replaced with another piece of carpet, which was burned. There was blood on that carpet. And there was a sock recovered in the candle, Letecia. Yes, thank you. The fire expert testified on the stand. This is a fire-resistant carpet. It would have taken an extremely hot flame for an extended period of time to create the burns that we see. It would not have happened from a candle. I could sit here and list all of the reasons of why, if a candle had wax in it, and even if it did flip midair, it would have went out. But basically, you would have to sit there with a torch for an extended period of time to even get the burns, because the carpet would not have caught fire like that. They are made not to catch fire. So just to even observe how she explains the events interests me, because we don't know what happened. And I like to see how uncomfortable she gets. No, this sock was found, Megsy, in the candle in the trash at the property. Exactly, Chris R. And that's one of, hi Margie, that's one of the most haunting questions to me, is trying to figure out what injuries Ganon sustained on Sunday. He was bleeding. There was blood from this candle incident. From what?
feel like it was on like one of the covers.
On the covers, was the cover on the sofa though, or was it on the floor?
I don't remember. I just remember it was in a small location. It wasn't a big enough fire to like.
What color was it? Do you remember? Was it yellow, red, orange?
I don't remember what color. It wasn't in a color to like. I mean, wasn't.
Because I think blue burns the hottest. Then you have stuff. If stuff gets involved in the fire.
Why is she smiling and laughing? You would think something like this would be traumatic, right? Yet she is smiling and laughing while recounting this. Duper's delight.
Or you have a yellowish or reddish color.
I don't remember.
Don't remember?
I don't remember.
How, can you show me how tall it was? Like, do you remember?
It wasn't tall.
Wasn't tall?
I don't feel like it was that tall. I mean, but my tall might be different from your tall, so I don't want to say. I don't.
Still, a fire's going to freak you out.
Right. Yeah. So when I pull the cover, I pull him with the cover too, and we run out.
Did you put out the fire or no?
I know that we took the covers, both of us. When he sees what's going on, we took the covers and like we smashed down on the
fire,
like on it, yeah. Because my only thought was oxygen, put it out.
Right.
That was all I could think about. Like, put it out, whatever.
Did it take much? Sorry to interrupt. Did it take a lot to put it out, or no? Or did you just smother it and then move?
I don't.
Or was it something in between?
Was there what now?
Something in between. I'm not trying to put words in your mouth.
Something in between.
Like in between, just it happened real quick, or you had to fight it for a while, or?
Oh, it wasn't like fighting for a while. Like there was already a bunch of covers on the side that I had grabbed them all and put over here, which is why the whole thing was bottled with covers. There was like burnt covers bottled everywhere. So it was like stuff there. And then I run, and he's running behind me. So as I'm running up, he like trips or whatever, but he's right behind me.
Mm-hmm.
So then I think I exit back out the garage, I feel like.
So the truck was in the garage?
No. It was out front.
Oh,
I'm saying like I think I exited back out the garage. Because I feel like I just ran back to that door. I'm not 100% positive. I know we ran out. Then Ganon runs right out behind me. And when I turned around and I'm saying something to him because I'm like, hey, because in my mind I don't remember if I had gotten the dogs, even though I had already I'd grabbed the dogs. And so like I don't remember what we were saying, but we were all in a frantic, whatever. He jumped in the passenger side, and I'm in the driver's side of the truck.
Okay.
Lena is in the back, and at that point we drive off. So we drive off for an helicopter.
They did not drive off. Please know that. But the reason that Grusing is asking so many questions is, again, this is 15 days prior to Ganon being found. He doesn't know what event, how Ganon even died. They know what the evidence shows at the house, but he doesn't know if this is the actual event that led to his death. He doesn't know. So that's why he's going to be very specific with it.
A minute, maybe. And then we drive back, but there's no gas in the truck.
So was anybody burned from that?
So Ganon had
you or Ganon?
Ganon had little burns on his arms from that, and then but at the time, see, Ganon always lays with like his either it's like his underwear on or like something like that. So at the time when we ran out, I feel like did he have a shirt? I don't remember if he grabbed a shirt or grabbed another cover when we ran out or whatever. But I knew that he had some burns on his arm, but I know they weren't bad, like burns that were bad. They were just like if you peeled a little bit or whatever.
Were they discolored then? So
Lena did a very remarkable job, in my opinion, of relaying what happened. Because we can't verify all of it, but there's a good portion, about half, that we can verify because of the video Leticia took. And it 100% depicts what Lena describes in that interview. Now, Lena said that they drove off and came back shortly after. But to her, I don't put too much into it. I think she may have just remembered getting in the car. Now, whether the car started and she perceived it as driving around the block or not, I don't know, but she did explain it in her safe passage interview.
Was the skin reddish, pinkish? What was it? Or did you see it then? Or
no, it was not till later that I really paid attention and should have been like, okay, well, because I did later on focus on it, but she couldn't ask about it. But
okay.
So yeah, so like our arms, his arms, and then we get in the truck or whatever, and then we drive off. So then we come back, and so I'm of course, and I text Harley, I text Albert, what had happened, and I said, this is what happened. I told Harley, this is what happened. Don't panic when you come home, because the house at this point in time we get back in smells like nothing but smoke.
Mm-hmm.
And so nothing but smoke at this point in time, and it was just I couldn't get the smoke out. Even opening up the windows and all those things, I couldn't get the smoke out.
Now, interesting enough, she's not closed off here. Her legs aren't crossed and her arms aren't crossed. I'm not a body language expert, okay? I'm just someone who watches a lot of videos. So I could kind of guess what they would say just from watching the videos. But I do find it interesting that she's not as closed off here. That doesn't mean that everything she's saying is truthful, versus pieces of what she's saying right here could be truthful. It was very smoky when they came back in. That part could be truthful. Even if she's the one who set the fire, that part can still be truthful. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, Nene. Who's Karen?
So that was
so what happened with these covers that you used to put out the plane?
Well, the covers were either left there, because I remember getting some of the stuff, and putting outside in a trash can, which I even showed the people when they got there that I put in a trash can.
Do you guys have singular trash cans for each house there, or just do you have a dumpster, or what?
Other yawn.
It's a big trash. It's just a big brown trash.
One of the wheel ones you wheel out and put by the curb. Okay.
Yeah, so it was just one of those. And it wasn't. That one was whatever,
but she became closed off again. So now we have her legs crossed and her arms crossed again.
We did want Albert to come home, not necessarily come home and be for that, but we maybe had updated a little bit to Albert, because we were thinking, oh, he'll be upset and want to come home, or whatever, because he was worried, or whatever. So in my message to Albert probably was a little bit a little more over exaggeration, just because that was one.
So when you say we, did you talk with the kids about let's get Albert home?
No. We did sit down, and because when I was asking him was this, did you do this on accident? Was this an accident? Whatever. And so we were just talking about the whole thing. Everybody was in one room. We were all in the bedroom at the time, which was our bedroom upstairs.
Okay.
So we were all in the bedroom upstairs, and it was just, just talking and, whatever. And I said, I got to let your daddy know. And then I was not going to tell him. That was the original thing. It was not telling him. It was just to fix it and not tell him.
Mm-hmm.
Because then I was like, if I just do that, then we don't have to, we don't have to worry about it.
Right.
But then that was just an opportunity to be oh, well, maybe Albert was I'll just come back home, or, because it was hard, always, all of us just there, going through all these memories and doing all these things without him,
mm-hmm.
being there. Whatever.
No, I get it.
So that was.
So did Ganon agree that was a good idea to kind of play it up a little bit?
Did he agree?
Yeah.
We all were in an agreement.
So how did you play it up? Was the fire really not that big, and you made it like it was a big deal? Or
well, to whenever
just to get Al to say, hey,
Well,
maybe I should get back home.
when we were explaining it to people in general, like that was our whole like, oh my gosh, it was like whatever, like because if you had my phone, you saw that like if the people that we messaged, we made it more of like a bigger situation.
Look at her
Like,
itching her leg.
than what it really was.
Yeah, because I couldn't understand how a candle could make a big fire, because my wife lights candles all the time around
Scratching
the
your
house. And
face.
if you knocked them over, and if you knock it over, kind of nothing happens.
Yeah.
I mean, it might singe the carpet a little bit. But,
Yeah.
I've seen the pictures, and I'm surprised that, that much of the carpet was burned.
Well, it was probably because, I don't know, but I know that we did go, like, push down on the carpet, and it was on the cover, which was, the cover was wrapped up on him.
Right.
So, I mean, I don't know, like...
That's what I was just curious about.
That doesn't explain it at all, Leticia.
That was awfully big for a candle.
I didn't even think that was even big. Was that really big?
Yeah, I mean, that big for a candle, because,
Look
like
at
I said,
you adjusting yourself. I didn't really... What? Was it even that big? Was it? I don't think it was that big. What? Yeah, as you're adjusting, why don't you go and do a freaking cartwheel, Tisha? Just do a cartwheel. You're adjusting yourself so damn much. But please, continue.
Big. Was that really big?
Yeah, I mean, that big for a candle, because, like I said, my wife, we look like a church sometimes with all the candles she lights.
Yeah.
We have dogs running around and kids.
No, it was...
So I was just surprised a candle could make, a big black thing in the carpet that much. That it might have been held there for a little while. Yeah. Maybe he tried to set the place
I don't
on fire
know
or
about...
something.
But see, the thing is, I don't know that Ganon would try to, like, purposely...
Very closed off.
Like, set something on fire. I don't know. I know that he did tell me later that he thought that I was coming downstairs. And he was playing his game. So he
was playing his game when he knocked the candle over?
Yeah, so he did tell us, he told me and Lena and all of us that when we were all talking together, he told us that he thought I was coming downstairs. Like, to catch him on his game, whatever.
Oh, and that's why he knocked it over.
I don't know. I don't know if he accidentally or thought, whatever. I just know he said that he thought.
But did he take any responsibility for knocking the candle over, or did it just say it happened, or what?
No, he did say that.
Okay.
He did say that he had done it, that he had started it or whatever. And I asked, that's why I kept asking him, like, did you do it on purpose?
That's what I'm curious about.
Or did you, was it an accident? He told me an accident. He thought I was coming downstairs. So, to me, sir, we could afford to buy another
for sure
sofa and another carpet. Now, that's not a problem. Like, I mean, you're talking about, like, things that we had and nice things that we can afford to buy that. So that was not a point of contention, and Ganon very well would have known that too.
So did it burn the sofa also?
I don't think it burned the sofa.
I did.
I'm just saying, like, in general in the area, whether if it would have burned sofa, TVs, all that.
Right. Did he light the candle?
We could afford to do it.
Candle?
Me too, Allie.
The candle he had already lit the candle because the dogs were, these like really bad marks and stuff. Okay. And so he had already lit the candle, which
Look at her. She just went through. What am I about to say? Like, she's literally, remember those old phone books? Well, they weren't phone books, but they were like phone cards that you could like cycle through. And she's mentally, and you're seeing her physically kind of cycle through. What am I going to say?
These like really bad marks and stuff. Okay. And so he had already lit the candle, which we allowed.
Does he normally do that?
Yeah, we allowed him to. He could light the candle if he wanted to. He was allowed to open like packages that came. That's where I was telling you, Albert taught him how to use like the box cutter and stuff like that. He was allowed to do those type of things. As long as, he was usually within reason, like, okay, I'm not going to go light, the blinding fire or, or something like that. When I was little too, like I did the same thing about curious about matches and, like things like that. But we had already given him enough of, like safety talks about, like Albert, when he talked to him about using the box cutters and knives, he always showed him the right direction, not to just go like, cut open boxes and stuff. So he had already had these,
no, they don't jams.
Like talks about the correct way to do these things. So.
Well, it explains those two. So I've got the bath salts, the candle, and now the foot injured in the garage. So tell me about that.
The foot injury.
Oh, sorry, before I go there, so we don't forget, you said peeling these later?
I just remember that on Monday his arm had a little bit of peeling to it. And that's when I said in my mind, and like I told the earlier here, that I did at that point say, I probably should like think about if I need to, if later on after I put stuff on it, I need to think about if it gets worse, monitor the situation, like those type of things.
Did you put stuff on it or no?
Well, we had took that green aloe stuff and we had took and put the little, because the dog had just had get bit before, so I already had that little wrap stuff,
Okay.
And so we had already done that in that situation.
Did you put it on both arms?
I think it was on the right arm, I feel like.
And then when did you do that? Was that Sunday night, Monday morning, both?
I think it was Sunday night.
Okay.
No, actually it wasn't. It was through the night because we stayed up late. So it would have already been Monday morning hours. Like into Monday morning hours.
So why were you guys up late?
Because we couldn't breathe. The smell was so like stuck in the house from the smoke. We couldn't breathe, no matter what we did.
So where did you guys hang out until you could
See,
breathe?
what I find interesting, again, every time she talks about the smoke, she uncrosses. And so it just makes me feel like she's being honest about it was very smoky, which I could imagine with the burn. Again, you guys, that burn did not happen from just knocking it over very quickly. It would have taken a very high heat for an extended period of time, sitting there like a torch sitting there. So imagine how much smoke came from that. And you know this, even if you, as a girl or even a guy, accidentally burned a piece of your hair, that smell, man. Oh, so I imagine she is being honest with the smell.
No matter what we did.
So where did you guys hang out until you could breathe?
We slept in our room, and then we opened all the windows downstairs.
Okay, and all four of you slept in?
So Lena, Harley, me, and him were in the room for a while. Then Ganon went to, I think he went to Lena's room at this point. Yeah. So then Ganon went to Lena's room for a while, but then he was in his room by the time he woke up. So I don't know if he got up in.
What time do you think you went to Lena's room? Was it after midnight or no?
Sure, I don't know.
When did you call him in sick? It was pretty early in the morning.
Well, we didn't. What happened is all I did was I called and asked about his stomach. It was nothing to do with anything to do with the fire or anything like that. My question was, I'd already given him Miralax, which was like, Miralax.
Mm-hmm.
So we had a prescription over the counter. I say whatever it is, prescription Miralax, glycerine or whatever. And I'd already given him that. And so then I also had X-Lax. And I thought, at what point can I not? Like how much is enough? If I can't get him to pass this, at what point is there enough? Or can I go ahead and do it like an enema or like? Albert can tell you, I've given him an enema before and like things like that because it gets so bad and they're just so big and they get clogged up. So that was the concern about how to get him to pass that.
Mm-hmm.
Because like for me, I have to I can drink 10 scoops of Miralax and it
won't affect
me at all. Yeah. And so I didn't want it to be where it was the squirts and then also the combination is different in my stomach because like I said, if I take 10 of them, I'm okay.
So he's having the squirts and he started having those in the hike, but he couldn't pass that whole evening. Is that right?
Right. He would get out balls, like big balls, but like couldn't get like the whole thing out. And that was sometimes if he finally, and then when he finally gets one out,
wasn't it? Or?
For me, I lay in the bathroom and I'm in pain.
That's you.
Was he telling you he was in pain?
Well, he sits on the toilet. His common thing is that he'll sit on the toilet and just sit there and sit there and sit there. So as long as he's got something to focus with, Ganon's pain tolerance is very high when it comes to just sitting there, focusing and all these things.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, he
spent a lot of time in the bathroom that evening. just sitting there?
Yeah, off and on the bathroom. We got kids meals, but he came out and ate his kids meal. So then it made him feel better. So I said,
McDonald's or what?
no, we Carl's Jr.'s.
Carl's Jr.
Yeah. So I had originally said Burger King, but that's not Burger King right there. That's Carl's Jr.
That's not closer.
Because I never go to Carl's Jr., but we got 2 kids meals, and I think I got something too. And Lena went with me to go get it. So he ate the kids meal when we got back.
But he still hadn't passed. So.
Well, if he ate, he had done something. He had already used it some, because he wouldn't have eaten.
And had you given the Miralax before the meal then?
I'd already given Miralax like throughout the week. We always had this thing where if I went in there and took one of my shots, like of acai berries or something like that, he would take one too. So it was common for me to be like, okay, here, mix, and Albert would always say, go mix him up one of the drinks, because we put in orange juice. Well, he didn't like juices as much unless it was like Kool-Aid juices, like sweet. So it was a common thing to always try to give Miralax to regulate the system. But the problem is, if you don't take the Vyvanse, so you don't take it for a day, like you didn't take it on Saturday, because family was in town, and say you don't take it on Saturday, and if you don't take it on Sunday, that's when it starts to happen. So that's when the constipation and the diarrhea kind of can go hand in hand. So like, let's say if he would have took it Saturday, and let's say he would have took it Sunday, he wouldn't have been as bad. Right. But then the problem is, Albert always would want him not on it if we're going to go do like a big time activity, because instead of having him like, zoned out on something, I mean, you would want your kids zoned out on something.
Yeah.
That was
the Vyvanse stuff.
Right. Yeah. And so like the thing was, if we go somewhere that requires him to have like, massive amounts of things, then, that we don't want him to be under that Vyvanse and just have to be like zoned in. We want him to be able to like, especially like on the hike, I wanted him to be able to like run around and do things, because me and him were always on the top of all, like if we had hikes, we were always on the top of hikes. We were always the ones like, leading, doing everything.
So was he bleeding that night? Do you know?
Actually, Harlot, you can. But you can. And it's actually extremely painful, because if you get diarrhea, and you guys are familiar with the stomach cramps that comes with diarrhea, right? The feeling of needing to go right now, right? And that pain does not subside until you pass. Except imagine having diarrhea, except you can't, because you are also constipated. And so blocking your ability to pass the diarrhea is constipation. So it actually is possible to have constipation and diarrhea at the same time, and it's very painful, very painful.
Anally, yeah.
So what happens is, from him squeezing, I hate talking about this. It sounds bad talking about like.
Well, I'm trying to figure out, what's going on with him these last couple hours.
Yeah, so like from him squeezing and stuff like that, his does the same thing as mine does, and mine does the same thing. And so that's why I told you we're so much alike, and we could relate on that, because it was like, oh my gosh, like blood out your butt, and then just from squeezing and things like that, and that wasn't like pouring out.
Okay, so it wasn't a copious amount.
Yeah,
just because of him struggling with that all night, or that evening into the night. You don't know when he eventually felt good.
Exactly.
How it works is he might feel good, and then it gets to where it's hurting still until he gets it all out. It's not until he returns like 100% and being like, okay, I'm back to Ganon.
Did he get back to Ganon that night?
For Sunday?
Yeah.
Yeah. So he was fine when he was downstairs. I told you he earned extra time to be able to stay up and stuff.
Yeah, but I thought, was he not struggling with this after the candle incident?
Right. Like what happens is, I mean, if you want to call in a GI person, but he gets where he's okay, and then a little bit more okay, and a little bit more. It's just episodes. They happen once a month ish, where he goes through those episodes of his stomach, and mine does the same thing.
So when you guys were up in the bedroom, how was he?
You mean like after
the flame and fire and smoke?
He was upset and like crying because he thought he was going to lose his switch, like for a long time. Like he thought, that he was going to lose his switch for a long time. So my biggest thing was, I don't care. We'll just do whatever we got to do to buy new whatever. I would be.
She may be being honest about that. I actually don't see her having extreme uncomfortability yet. Now, that doesn't mean she's not lying at all, but I think that she set that candle incident up. I don't know exactly how it played out, but I think she turned around and led Ganon to believe it was him. I don't believe it was him. But he may have had a reaction like, I'm going to be punished. That's how a kid's brain works, my switch is going to be taken away. So she may be being honest about little pieces like that. And that's why it's easy for her to answer these questions, because he's not picking at the hard stuff yet.
Be quicker to cover up a lot of things for Ganon. Because
Chicken Shite just gifted a membership. Congratulations if you received it. Welcome. Please thank Chicken Shite in the chat if you are the lucky recipient. Right, Tracy L. So sad. So sad.
we just related on the same page, more so than Lena, because Lena would be the most kind of like bratty-ish or, whatever. So Deanna could be more of like,
Thanks,
we can have like secrets and talk and say, hey, we're not going to tell them you're doing this, or,
Right.
Yeah. So I'd be more inclined to okay, don't tell anybody, we'll fix it. And so that was kind of like our conversations, what we were talking about. And yeah, he was upset, like very, like upset and hurt and just trying to do whatever, but we also kind of just.
So how late do you think he stayed up with you in the room until he finally left?
I don't know.
Was it past midnight or do you know?
I don't know. But
he left on his own.
At this point. So whenever he
for context,
went to Lena's room.
For context, she was up throughout all of those night hours. She texted her boss at the school at 2:30 a.m. saying her stepdad was hit by a car and killed and she couldn't come in. And then again at like 4 a.m. And then she also texted Al about Ganon's stomach being upset and then keeping him out of school. She did not sleep, okay? But also about Kobe Bryant's helicopter crash.
I think he walked down. I don't remember exactly, but I know because all four of us couldn't fit in the bed plus 2 dogs. So at one point in time, we had to switch the whole, like, okay, you go sleep here, you go sleep here.
Harley.
And I feel like at one point, Harley was sleeping on the sofa, and then Harley and Lena switched, because we were up. Like I said, we couldn't breathe. It was very smoky. So we were all.
When Harley got home from work, okay? It was a little after 10 p.m. Ganon was already downstairs in his bed. And Leticia made Harley go down and say goodnight to him. This was a really critical moment on the stand. It was a proof of life moment. I think it was around 11 p.m. Leticia brought Harley down because Harley wasn't going to sleep in the basement. It was too smoky. Never mind Ganon, though. Ganon was sleeping down there. And she had Harley go into the doorway of Ganon's room. And it was cold because all of the windows were open, and it was smoky. Ominously, Ganon was laying in the bed. Harley said, "Goodnight, Ganon," in which Ganon never responded. She could only see his head poking out from the blankets. So there was never, we're all sleeping upstairs. Ganon was never included in that. And if we're going to refer to Lena's safe passage interview, what she details happened before Harley got home is horrific.
Like not sleeping, not. When Lena went to school, I'm pretty sure she probably went to sleep or was very, very like exhausted.
Right.
Because like us staying up and like, you know, getting tired and stuff.
So Lena was real sleepy, but she went to school.
Yeah, like what I'm saying is when she woke up, she probably was like really, really like felt like she could have used a couple more hours.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
so why did you call Ganon in sick and not her?
Well, she wasn't struggling with stomach problems.
So he still had him in the morning, then.
Right.
Okay.
So it wasn't. I even had messaged Albert the other night and said, "Hey, I asked him."
Mm-hmm.
Like I asked him, is it okay if Ganon stays out? And so that was.
Yeah.
So he didn't respond because he was on a different time zone.
Okay.
And I got the message.
So you called in sick though too for your wife.
A safe passage interview, Karen Ann, is an interview done for minors to in Lena's situation, and along with there was more than one safe passage interview in Ganon's case. With Ganon's friend, there was a safe passage interview, but they're minors and it's not done in a regular interview setting, yet they may have witnessed something. And so it's an interview done with them where they're trying to acquire information, but done in the best non-traumatic setting possible. Thank you, Dog Mom. Dog Mom gifted a membership. Congratulations to the recipient. Please thank Dog Mom if you were lucky enough to receive it. You guys are so kind. Thank you so much. Right, Allie. And that's what contributes to her narcissism, you know, is she, even at her own detriment, she loves to try to control the situation. And the first thing he said to her is, "You don't have to talk to me." And she's like, "Oh, no, I will. I will." Yet then she'll be the first one to say that you violated my amendment rights and denied me food and water and bathroom breaks, and I am suing you. I think he is, for numerous reasons, Abellis, I think he is trying to, one, let her know that he has experience. Two, he didn't know who he was dealing with yet at this point. Coming from a direction of playing on emotion may work with some. May not have known at this point it's not going to work with Leticia. Him using other scenarios to try to get her to crack. It may work with others. It just didn't work with Leticia.
So what I did was I said, I told Albert, I said, "Hey, I'll just stay at home with Ganon today." And he didn't write me back or he didn't whatever. But the plan was I wasn't going to go back to teaching.
Exactly.
The plan was I was not going back to teaching.
So starting, when was that a plan?
I think it was like December, so I was just going to try to use like days and try to, you know, whatever, because I just didn't want to go back to teaching.
Right. What did you tell your school as far as why you didn't show up that day?
For that day, I didn't talk to them about anything that day.
Oh,
your school, you didn't.
Oh, well, laddie fucking die. You did not, Leticia. Tisha Leon. You did not. Woman. You texted them not once, not twice, 3 times the same message saying your father, your stepfather was hit by a car and killed. And when she asked, okay, so you're not going to be coming in today, you got nasty and defensive and were like, what do you mean am I not coming? Of course, obviously I'm not coming in today. Can I not grieve? And she was like, whoa. So your role, of course, take the time that you need. I just need communication. And you never said, I can't make assumptions here. Are you just seriously going to play this off right now, Leticia? Like you did not text your boss that? No? So let's observe that body language.
Show up that day.
For that day, I didn't talk to them about anything that day.
Your school, you didn't?
Not that day.
Did you just not show?
I didn't talk to them about anything. No, I don't know what you're talking about. What? Tisha. Stop fidgeting. Okay? And that's a whole ass lie. That's a whole ass lie, Tisha Leon.
Class is waiting on you? Or
No. Okay, so what happened was I transitioned because I was like, okay, I wasn't going to be a teacher anymore. And I was like, okay, well, I have to do something until this, like, the whole flight attendant thing started. So I had to do something until then. I couldn't just.
First of all, what answer is this? He's not asking you what your plans for your career was. He's asking you, did you text anybody that night letting them know you weren't coming in? And listen to Tisha saying, listen, like I had to do something while I waited to do flight attendant school. Because yeah, at this point, she's going to be a fucking pilot, eh? Flight attendant, whatever. It was a lie no matter what. But this is not what he asked you. Did you or did you not contact them and tell them you were not coming in for a very specific reason?
Not have money or whatever. So I got on what is it? I don't know what district it's called, but it's one of the districts. And I said I would do a long-term sub position, or I would do the regular subbing position. And then I just, at that point, was going to just call in whenever I could work. I think it's D8. I have it in my email. Right. I could just call in whenever I worked or whatever, and just.
So were you scheduled to show up then Monday morning?
From the school that I wasn't going to work at anymore, I had already told them that I wasn't. Like, I didn't even complete paperwork with them yet. So it wasn't even, I wasn't
They weren't counting on you to show up that day or work.
What do you mean? But I hadn't signed any contracts. I hadn't done anything with them because the whole plan was I was not going to be teaching. I was just going to be.
Okay. Yeah, I get you didn't sign.
Listen to Tisha go. She's like the little engine who could, right? My God. Who knew if there was an award for is it possible to answer every question without answering the fucking question, Leticia would get the award. Were you supposed to show up that Monday? I had not signed any contracts or anything, and we had this deal where I was going to call in, and I wasn't going to be an actual teaching position. I was just going to be like a substitute. So yeah, I don't know what you're talking about. It's a very direct question. It's a yes or no question, but look at her go.
I was not going to be teaching. I was just going to be.
Okay. Yeah, I get you didn't sign contracts, but were they planning for you to come in to do something on Monday and you had to call in?
I never called in on Monday. I'd already told them.
Did you text down or something?
No, on Thursday or Friday, I'd already told them. Okay. On Thursday or Friday, I'd already told them that I wasn't coming in. I didn't go in Friday either. I'd already told them I wasn't. So it was you're asking me about if I told them Monday, but I'd already told them prior.
You'd already told them, so you didn't have to tell them you're not coming in on Monday?
Right, because I'd already told them because, on my dad's side, there was someone who passed away, and I just used that as a reason why I wasn't coming on. The following.
Very good, Tisha. So this is where things are going to continue to, it's only going to get more and more cringe, guys. It's only going to get more and more cringe. See, Leticia knows damn well. She texted them 2:30 a.m. to 4 a.m. We went through them. It's all up on my channel. My stepfather was just hit by a car and killed. I can't come in today. They didn't text back right away, so she sent it twice. My stepfather was just hit by a car and killed. I can't come in. She knows damn well she did. So she's dancing until she realizes, crap, he's pushing a little too much. So let me open this door and admit to using this excuse. Oh my God. That's what he was asking you to begin with. So you could have just said yes. You could have just said yes, Tisha.
Way, and I just used that as a reason why I wasn't coming on. Well, the prior week.
Oh, okay.
So that's, and then.
How did they pass away?
Well, my dad is remarried to my stepmom. Or my dad is married to my stepmom. And then the first time he came with cancer. So honestly, I didn't have any plans to go there at all. I didn't.
Yeah.
But it bought me some time into not teaching and then trying to get set up on the next schedule. Because I started developing a lot of stress over teaching because it wasn't so much about teaching anymore. It was about following a piece of paper that wasn't helping the students. And so that was already a plan that was set separately and trying to figure
out.
Did
you say the stepmom excuse then? Did you mention stepmom for the week prior then, as far as why you might not be there?
No, I didn't mention anyone. I just said I had a different in the family. I didn't say anything to do with our family or stepmom or anything.
But you did.
Were they okay with that?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
what are you going to say? Right.
I mean,
death in the family.
How she thought she was going to be able to control this verbally, like she was up against murder. Yet, it doesn't matter what I sent on my phone and all this digital evidence. I'm going to be able to control it. They're going to take me for my word, obviously. It's amazing. Megsy, sorry, MJ, just checked out for a minute. She shut me down. My payment for losing concentration. EXO, thank you, Megsy. Payment accepted. Thank you so much. I don't know, and I guess that's the narcissism. Believing that she had control. Believing that she genuinely had control over this situation when she desperately did not.
Yeah, and plus too, I hadn't even done anything with them. It was just, why would I even want to set myself up in a position to be teaching with them again? I just couldn't do it. I thought I could because I was like, if I do it, I would just do it until I could be on sub position or whatever. And I hated it.
Yeah, I had to sub for a little while before the FBI.
Well, see, I didn't have a problem moving into the sub list.
Yeah, subbing's not fun.
Right, and you push, you don't get paid, which you should, but I didn't have a problem moving into the sub list. I didn't want to teach sped. I was in a hard position with not wanting to be a teacher at all. All I wanted to do was work with people and being able to see new people every day. And so I had to buy myself some time, and it just was fortunate that someone had passed away. And so I bought myself time in order to you say you wanted the truth, that's the truth. I bought myself time. I bought myself time to just be able to take
Yet she's saying, you're saying you want the truth, so I gave you the truth, all while shaking her head no. Very good, Tisha.
Thursday, Friday, maybe Friday. I don't know. It was 1 or 2 days to take that time through the weekend to kind of self-reflect and be like, how can I, get to the position where I want to? You know how hard it is to look at someone's face and your whole life working in education and, really want to do it.
Yeah, my wife's in education, my mom's in education. But yeah, I mean, some people are cut out for it, and others are like,
Right, and I did it so long, and it was like, it was more so about following everything by the book and not being able to actually get to have fun with kids anymore and get to teach them the way you want to teach them.
right.
No.
Why
So
are you
it was to buy myself some time, you know, and play.
She is cradling her stomach with her legs crossed. She is self-soothing. She is uncomfortable. She knows, he knows about the text. And so she's having to account for it, and she's uncomfortable. So she is self-soothing by cradling and rocking.
It was just to keep looking at the airport, and then we go from there.
Okay. So tell me about the next morning then. So now you're at home, Ganon's at home,
Right.
Elena's at school. Tell me what happens then.
Right. So this is where I need help from everybody.
Yeah. And you can get help. I've, like I said, I've had some high-level informants that have told me some horrific things, and we've had to relocate them. We can get different names. But to do that, to kick that in motion, we need to know the story. We can't just say,
Right.
oh, someone's got really important information.
Right. Well, that's where I would need someone to help guide me through this, because I want to help more than anything. But
That's why I'm here, because I'm representing.
Look at her head direction, okay? I want to help more than anything. Okay?
More than anything. But
That's why I'm.
Why does your head shake? You want to help more than anything, right?
Here because I'm representing Denver FBI, and then I have the ability to pull resources from Quantico, which
Turning away
our
from
behavior
him.
analysis unit. Everything comes out of there.
Right.
She does not like that we are now onto the day of the murder and that he is asking for details. So she not only switches the way her legs are crossed, but she even adjusts her ass to point more away from him. So she is very closed off at this point, legs crossed, shifted away from him, arms crossed in a self-soothing position.
It's called SURG, which is our incident response group. So this was a big enough case that the supervisor of the FBI asked me to come down from Denver, and I get all my training out there. So you're not going to have better resources in this room right now. And I'm not bragging.
Right.
I've just been doing this stuff for a long time.
Right.
So if you tell me what happened,
Itching of that nose,
and then you need protection, we can do all that stuff. So DEA doesn't have those capabilities. ATF doesn't. No. DEA just investigates drugs, and they're very good at it.
thin sandals.
But the FBI, we're now worldwide, and we have offices Bogota to Russia to China to wherever.
Hey,
So,
Bobo.
and we get a lot more funding because of when September 11th happened. That changed everything for us. We were the nation's #1 law enforcement agency before then, but they gave us so many more resources since then.
Right.
And so I am specialized in missing kids and unusual homicides, including serial killings and whatever else. So I didn't get in right away on your case, but I have been working it for the past couple of weeks.
I was just going to talk to you again.
Yeah. Well, I'm here now, and whatever you tell me, the worst thing I can do for people like you is if you have a story that requires your protection.
I wish I was able to talk to you in the beginning while simultaneously pulling down her sleeves. God, my thing keeps moving. While simultaneously pulling down her sleeves and making herself appear smaller, which we have learned to do that over time and evolution, out in nature, we need to make ourselves smaller as prey. If we are being hunted, we need to make ourselves seem as small as we can when we are faced with a predator. That is why in moments like this, she is looking at Grusing as a predator. So she is turtling and she is pulling herself into her sleeves because she is trying to make herself as small as possible because she is the prey right now.
For the FBI, it would not be good for me to run out and say, oh, Leticia told me this, and that's not how it works.
Yeah.
If this can help us find Ganon, we'll do whatever we can. Okay.
I'm not like I just need like protection for the family. And I swear to you.
Okay. Well, you can get that, but we have to know the story first.
So how am I supposed to get help talking to someone first before we talk to you?
Need protection, again, with a slow shake of the head. Megsy, thank you so much. Megsy just gifted 5 memberships. Congratulations. Welcome to all of our new members. Please thank Megsy if you were lucky enough to receive a membership. Megsy's paying her dues. No, I'm kidding. But thank you. That's so sweet. Here we are again with Leticia, where she kind of does her immunity deal, where she thinks they are going to provide her immunity without ever giving Ganon over. I don't know how in the world she ever thought this was going to work, but she genuinely believed she was going to get in writing, I won't be charged, and I'll give you a bullshit story that won't ever lead to Ganon, and I'm going to walk away scot-free. I ask myself that all of the time, Rock Painting Lady, and I still have a different answer every day. The liver!
Because I'm willing to do that.
So here's your deal. If you need help, and if you want to go through the court process, that's fine. We leave, and then you work through the court process. But then it just becomes the whole focus of this, Leticia, right now, you're the only one. You're the last one. You're the last adult with him. You're the last adult we know.
So he mentions the court process. And he says, hi, Bridget, if you want me to leave and you want to go through the court process, you could do that. And she does shift her body. And look, she is more open towards him because she does not like the idea of going through the court process. But like an idiot, I don't know why she ever thought that this was going to work out.
Know about with him. You have not told anybody anything else to lead us. We have been trying to work with Al to say, what is she saying now?
Yeah.
You know, and the Quincy Brown thing and whatever else.
I was mad at him about all that. But a lot of it was keys to help you guys. But it should have just been, if I could have just reached out to someone to be like, I'm terrified for myself and for the family. And it would have
all with a smile on her face. Duper's delight, ladies and gentlemen, right in front of you. I was terrified for myself and for my family, all with the biggest smile on her face, knowing it is bullshit.
for myself and for the family. And it would have been. And also what I can help you with can also help you with something else you might be already working into.
Well, what is that?
I'm just saying.
Well, Leticia, you've got to give me something here to work with. If you want to go through the court process, like I said on here, the last question, if you want to stop at any time, you are more than welcome to stop and say.
But it says you can have one present to talk to you.
Yep. And that will kick in the court process and then we're done, which is fine. And if that's what you want. Okay, but the whole, if you need protection and that sort of thing, I can't get you there without you giving me something. So I listened to all the calls with Al, and I've seen the crime scene reports. Mm-hmm. Okay, what happened in the bedroom was not Ganon slinging his blood on the wall.
Well, that's totally like not even to do with anything. Yeah, that's why I'm so like upset about bedroom.
Now she went from facing him to shifting her butt again, and now she shifts away from him. Oh, but all that blood, everything from the crime scene, that has totally nothing to do and like, think about how disturbing this is. She is putting her hands up. My hands are clean in this. It's not on me. Good night, dog mom. This has nothing to do. My hands are clean. Look at her. Hands up. It's not on me. It has nothing to do with me. And it has nothing to do with what I'm talking to you about. When it's those exact hands that did the unimaginable.
And all those things, because I understand you're an expert. I know that, but I'm telling you I'm gonna need like protection. That's it. It's not me. I'm not the person.
So, but if you're not the person, the charges won't be different. Okay, if you allowed someone else to come in and do the things to Ganon that we know happened to him, you're just as guilty.
I didn't allow anyone, and I don't know of anything like you're talking about to be happening to Ganon. I do know that there's something I could tell you that can help you, or help me, help everyone, but I do need that help.
Well, so let me tell you where I am. Okay. Like I said, I've been 23 years with the FBI. For the last 20, I've been working violent crime.
Self-soothing, cradling,
and I've worked some of the worst cases. And it kind of messed me up a bit, to be honest, seeing what I've seen. And I worked 20 years of bank robbers. Mm-hmm. So I always thought that you were going to have, I'm the FBI, I'm the good guy, bad people go rob banks. And that's not how it is. I've had to help arrest other FBI agents, police officers, people from the church, school resource officers. I mean, it doesn't matter what you do. Mm-hmm. And on the other side, some of the bank robbers, one of them came out after serving a 10-year sentence, and we hit it off just fine, even though, we were on opposite sides of the fence. The thing that I have seen, though, throughout is when something very bad happens, people think they can't recover from it. And I do not think you are a bad person. That's why I'm here. No, I don't. I've seen bad people.
And I know you tell people that to get them to help you.
No, I'm not. I would not have this approach with you if I thought you were a bad person. I think something bad happened. And I think that what I've seen a lot, whether it's you think that you can get out if you do this or this or this, that's where you are now. And you're hoping that one of these things can save you. They're not going to be able.
What do you mean? What were you talking about? Someone's not going to be able to save me?
There was nobody else there. Okay. We've looked at the alarms. We've looked at the motions. We've looked at the detectors.
The alarms are already covered up.
The alarms were already covered up.
Yes.
Buckle up, guys, because we're not even halfway through, and I'm telling you, the second half is when she's not harlot. She's not a bad person. But this is the moment where she realized, wait, you're not believing me? But sir, have I not been convincing? We have the alarms, Miss Ma'am. The alarms? They have been covered up already. Oh. Okay. All right. Well, continue, Leticia. And that smile, that laugh she's doing, it's not because of how ludicrous Grusing is being with proposing she is guilty. It's the duper's delight.
The alarms are already covered up.
The alarms were already covered
Yes.
up. Okay. But
sir, I'm telling you, what you have is not you. I know you say you wouldn't sit here and say this to me if I wasn't whatever. I'm telling you, it is true. I would not and did not. Would not, did not. And with you guys having my phone, I would have thought that you would have had some of the apps looked into. Now, I would have thought that sometimes when I talked to Albert, you might have listened to them all or whatever. It could have been some help and indication on the apps. I really did. Because I couldn't come at you.
Listen to this gaslighting motherfucker. Sorry to curse, but listen to her go. Sir, only Leticia can do this, all right? I would have thought, with you listening in to all of my calls and being at my house, that you would have picked up on my cues that I was leaving you on these calls, because I knew you were listening in, and I was trying to drop subtle clues, and I would think that you would look into all of the apps and everything. I mean, you are the FBI, right? This is a failure on your part, not mine. Letecia Stauch, ladies and gentlemen.
Help and indication on the apps. I really did. Because I couldn't come at you and just tell you if you say there's somebody not involved. I could walk you through it and prove it to you, and you guys have already had this predetermination. I don't mean you. I haven't this first time I spoke to you. You guys have already had this predetermination that that's what's going to happen. It's already in your mindset.
Yeah, because we have no other evidence pointing us elsewhere.
Right.
So if there was a shred of evidence, Leticia, that pointed us to some other person, we would be all over it. As soon as Quincy Brown came out of your mouth, it doesn't take long.
So you know 100% he's in Mexico right now?
Yes, we do know.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Mm-hmm. Because we did get our legal.
So, 100% Quincy Brown is in Mexico right now. John Grusing, yeah, we fucking do. 100%. Okay. Okay. Because Leticia knows better. Okay, Bellis and Joy Dinner. Leticia knows something that the fucking FBI doesn't know.
Yeah, we have what's called a legal attaché.
Mm-hmm. Okay. That's where that alone, and I get that you're saying you have someone who looked into that and knows that. That's where I know in my heart that I can't trust to get help. That very reason.
You're saying Quincy Brown's not in Mexico?
That's not what I'm saying. But you would have said another word, like something in between that would have gave that off. Like, you wouldn't have said he's just in Mexico and he didn't do anything. You would have said, oh, did he come back here for a reason? You wouldn't have said any of that. You would have known some other things too. Or maybe you have and you just can't tell me those things. And that's okay. But
what?
We don't, in a case like this, so tips will come in.
Mm-hmm.
The public will call in. And then, of course, you and Al are primary interest because you're the parents of the missing kid. And 90% of the time, when a kid goes missing, it has to do with one of the parents.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. That we work on probabilities.
Okay.
So, and especially with you, then you're there. You say he went to a neighbor's house. That's the very first thing you say. And then there's no thought that somebody took him.
You said there's no thought?
There's no thought for law enforcement.
But you're not understanding what happened leading up to the days before. Nothing.
Please, Leticia. This is why I would have been banging my head up against the wall. Shout out to Grusing. Tell them. If you are saying you don't understand what happened in the days leading up, tell us. Please, please, Leticia, tell us.
Nothing to do with Ganon, nothing to do with me, okay? In terms of me and Ganon, okay? I love Ganon with all my heart.
Look at her shake her head no.
You can sit here and say 90%.
Oh, and it breaks my heart. When she says, I love Ganon with all of my heart, she vehemently shakes her head no.
With all my heart.
Did you see that? I love Ganon. Oh my goodness, this is so annoying. I love Ganon with all of my heart. Her words are saying one thing, and her body is showing another.
And so you can say, I love Ganon with all my heart. And so you can sit here and say 90% parents, this, okay?
I'm not saying you don't love him.
I love him.
I'm saying that even I have had times when my son rolled the basketball underneath that I wanted to turn around and do something, and then I would have regretted it later.
But what you're saying to me is what you think is that I hurt Ganon.
And I don't think it was intentional.
Okay, but I didn't hurt Ganon, okay? And I didn't either intentional or not intentional hurt Ganon. I did not.
Look at that smile.
That's just not what happened, okay? And I had this conversation with you just to see for a second if I could get help from you.
But you can't. How can you expect me to help you, Leticia, if you're not going to tell me?
Listen to Leticia go. So, Mr. Grusing, I've actually engaged in this conversation because I was testing you. I wanted to see if you were going to be capable of helping me. And you have failed, Mr. Grusing. You have failed, and I now know that I can't trust you with the truth of what happened. I have not been sitting in this room because I am under arrest and charged. I am testing you. The audacity of her. I sure can forget some shiggles.
I had this conversation with you just to see for a second if I could get help from you.
But you can't. How can you expect me to help you, Leticia, if you're not going to tell me what happened? You can't go. Let me tell you. You can unlock the entire resources of the FBI right now. I've told you that. But then you say that you're not willing to do it, whether you don't trust me or you think that there's these people involved.
You already told me someone wasn't there based on an alarm.
That's from what we can see. Yes, okay. Movement in the basement.
Right.
Movement upstairs.
But you've already told me that based on that, okay? But what you're not realizing is there's 2 sensors on that home, okay? Two that can easily be manipulated, easily, okay? And if you even knew anything about prior, you would be thinking a lot differently now. But see, that's why I can't talk to you about these things, because you already have predetermined what you think.
It doesn't matter what I predetermined.
But you said intentionally, unintentionally, and that's not the case.
I'm not saying I'm right 100% of the time. It doesn't. You need to just disregard whatever I think, or really whatever anybody else thinks. If you have a truth, and if you have something that will help us find him, really, to hell with me and everybody else and what we think. You should just cast that aside. All I can follow is the facts of the case as they're told to me.
Okay.
And so for me to go somewhere else besides the facts, I have to then go back to the facts to check it. So when I say something
I'll talk to you in private, but you can't tell Albert about anything that led up to it or anyone else.
Albert will not know
I
any
will.
of this.
I understand that, but I will. But I need.
Well, Lottie fucking doll. Listen to Leticia dictating. This bitch is charged. She is arrested. She has been put in handcuffs, arrested, and charged. And listen to her dictate. And this is only because they were so desperate to bring Ganon home to find his body. Did they even obey? Did they even agree to talk with her outside of this room? Because that would never normally happen, okay? But here she is dictating, I'll talk to you, but you can't say shit to Al or anybody else.
I need your help, and I need to know that you tell me there's resources, you tell me whatever, okay? I know you're saying you got whatever, this and that and all that, but I really am going to need help, like, a lot. Swear to you.
Smiling.
Don't base it on some alarm reports, because they can easily manipulate it.
Well, we're not just
They
looking
easily
at
were.
alarm.
I know, I'm saying when you're saying no one else was there.
So
When you say that, don't base it on that, please. I'm begging you. Because that was not even remotely. Was not even it.
That's not even remotely
Not
what?
even.
so you care about Ganon.
I care about Ganon. I have reached out every day offering for people to go in these certain places to get even insight to see. I've every day asked, hey, can you go do this? Can someone meet me here?
So you've asked someone to go look for him?
Right, like I reached out and I asked Albert, I said, hey, can you meet me? Let me tell you about this, and let's go to this location to look. I've asked all these.
What location do you think he's at now, Ganon?
No, I'm just saying, like,
No,
in general.
but I'm asking you
In
right
general.
now. Where do you think he is right now?
John Grusing, excuse me. I'm just throwing out bullshit, trying to convince you that I've been trying to locate him. Don't ask me specifically where I wanted to search, because this didn't happen.
I don't know exactly. I don't know.
Well, where do you know him to last?
But I am 99% confident Ganon is alive.
Okay. Leticia, where do you know?
Oh, chicken shite. Chicken Shite says, we need more green for tomorrow. Yes, tomorrow is members only Monday. And Chicken Shite just gifted 5 memberships. So 5 of you can take part in actually 4 member only Mondays. When you get gifted 1 membership, you get 4 members only live. So thank you so much, Chicken Shite. That's very, very generous of you. Congratulations. If you received a membership, please thank Chicken Shite in the chat. Make sure that you are opted in for a chance at receiving a gifted membership. If you may not be able to afford one, we have a very generous community here. And that was awesome. So thank you so much, Chicken Shite.
I am 99% confident Ganon is alive.
Okay. Leticia, where do you know him to last be?
I want to help, sir, but I'm in a room, and you've already talking about all this and the courts, and it's me against everybody else.
So here's the deal.
Like, I swear, one day we're just gonna like break down her sentence for sentence, okay? Hi, Sansi. I want to help, sir, but I'm in a room. Oh, okay. Like, I've lost brain cells since that sentence. You can tell how desperate she was to just get out of this situation, which, guess what? All she had to do was shut up. I want a lawyer. But here she is with her narcissism, thinking she can control this. She can get out of this. She literally just said, I want to help you, sir. I do. But I'm in a room, as opposed to, you can't talk and give answers if you are in a room. The issue is the four walls. Make it make sense. Hi, Sherry.
It's me against everybody else.
So here's the deal. Once this thing goes through the courts, you talked about that. You're the only one to be with him. You think you're going to be able to tell a story.
A story?
It might be a true story.
Gosh, sir.
But listen, I've listened to a lot of your stories, and I don't know what else to tell them.
Yeah, okay, that's because I was mad at him. Had nothing. I already knew.
But I've seen what you told the news reporter. I've seen what.
Listen, please stop holding me accountable for the 8 stories I told Al. I already explained to you. I was mad at Al that he wouldn't be supportive and stand by me and just believe me. So I told him a bunch of bullshit stories about what happened to his child. Why won't you just accept it? Yeah, Scott says, I think a lot of those go through interrogations. Instead of lawyering up, are those narcissistic enough to think they still have control, or in such denial they can't accept the reality of the arrest? I think you're right. Now with Leticia, it's amped up times 1,000. Like, she was really, thank you, Petunia. She was really, I've never in my life, again, one of the reasons I'm so hooked and fascinated by Letecia Stauch is I've never in my life seen someone so out of control while desperately thinking they're in control. That's what it is. Like, she is as far out of control of a situation as you can get, yet she behaves and acts like this was all part of the plan. I agree, KPM, because it's not just the murder itself, it's everything after.
I've listened to what you told El Paso about the sex assault that happened in the house.
I already knew that you guys were listening to him.
Yeah.
No,
so
you're shaking your head no.
Because I was.
Listen, watch. She's saying, I already knew that you guys were listening, and we saw her do this yesterday, but she's shaking her head. No, you didn't. No, you didn't.
I already knew that you guys were listening to him.
Yeah.
You're
so I said that because I was angry.
But what I think I can offer you today is some help.
Tish.
Okay. And I've told people that I've worked with here this story because you remind me a lot of a case I worked about 5 years ago, and I'm still working a little bit of it today because of the fallout. There's a guy from Highlands Ranch. His name's Harold Henthorne.
Okay.
And he pretended to go to a job every day like he was earning a lot of money. His first wife, she was a social worker in Denver. She ends up getting sick. He's going to have to pay for her medical bills. And because of that, she's going to be sick. She's going to have medical bills. She's going to find out that Harold doesn't really have a job.
Okay.
His image was very important to him. And he ended up staging an accident. And I'm not saying he did this again. I just want you to listen to the story. And the car fell on his wife and killed her. And he got away. Yes. It was down in Sedalia. A Jeep. He somehow got her underneath the Jeep, and the entire Jeep came down and crushed her. 10 years later, 12 years later, he's married to a second wife. They have a lot more money. They have a family. Harold's a Christian man. He went to Cherry Hills Church, which is a big church in Highlands Ranch. And he built the walls for Juarez. He would go down and do mission work, etc. So he had a good heart. But his second wife, she was an eye surgeon in Cherry Creek. And she kind of her family started figuring out that Harold didn't really have a job.
Mm-hmm.
And he actually dropped a beam on her head at a cabin, not trying to kill her. We don't know what that was about. But she stopped the oil checks coming in to Harold, because Harold he was collecting the family's oil checks.
Mm-hmm.
And then she ends up falling off the cliff in Estes Park.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't prove the difference between a push and a fall. And I found this out going into it, because if it happens in Estes Park, it's a federal crime.
Okay.
So Harold stood to inherit $6.5 million for her death.
Mm-hmm.
And he was just fine coming out there. But Harold told different stories to different people. Like from his church, he would say Tony was his wife. He said Tony was clumsy. She wasn't paying attention. Tony was looking at turkeys. She just ran off the edge. Tony was this, and that really hurt him in court.
Mm-hmm.
Because what happens later on is Harold's thinking, oh, I was just saying this, because, maybe she was doing that. Maybe she wasn't.
Right.
Instead of saying, this is what happened.
Right.
And he also said, I didn't see her when she fell off the cliff. He said, I was just looking the other way. Really? You're looking at her the whole time?
Right.
And then the time that she's off the cliff.
Right.
And so I'm looking at your story, the ones that you've told to Al, the ones that you've said in the media, of hitting your head. When you hit your head, you didn't see what happened. And then when someone else takes Ganon, or when he's riding a bike and he hits his head and stuff like that.
Riding a bike. I just told you I was saying that to Albert because I was upset that he wasn't listening to me, that I did not hurt Ganon.
I don't think you intended to hurt Ganon at all.
Sir, there's no...
No, I'm not saying you did. Or he hurt himself. Something bad happened in his room.
No.
Have you seen...
Look at that smile.
You helped clean it off the wall.
Sir,
we know that.
This here, what you're talking about is completely irrelevant about the whole thinking mad, whatever.
Tell me about, if it's irrelevant, Leticia, help me. Because there's a big blood pool in the corner. There's spray on the wall.
Thank you, Lena.
If I tell you anything about any of that, all you're going to say to me is, hey, da-da-da-da.
If you didn't do it, no, I will be your advocate. Because why do we know?
If I tell you any of that relevant information, you know what you're going to say to me? You're going to say, hey, da-da-da-da-da-da. No, what? You're acting like you have a big important reason of why you can't share these details. He's going to say what? Not da-da-da-da-da. What is he going to say? Why can't you share this very important information that isn't relevant to his actual disappearance and or murder? Again, I've never seen someone so out of control believe they had control.
If you didn't do it, no, I will be your advocate. Because why do we know each other?
No,
Why would I care? If you didn't do it and it helps me find Ganon?
I didn't do it.
Okay, well then help me find out who did.
Who did what?
That to Ganon in his room.
Done what to Ganon in his room?
There's a pool of blood in the corner.
Okay.
That's Ganon's blood.
Okay, so you're saying now this is where I have a hard time knowing whether to be like, okay, trust you or not, all right? You're saying there's a pool of blood. Albert said saucer size blood, because I'm sure you had him say all this, because I'm sure you were there or whatever. Okay. In his room, and you said something about, what'd you say?
On the wall.
Okay. Then, if that's your whatever, your expert advice or
There's
whatever.
More blood.
Okay. Then, where do you think that I had any involvement with Ganon, and where did he go?
See, she struggles to even get the words out. She doesn't like to even repeat what Grusing is saying. So she struggles, and look at her visually trying to separate this is the blood, this is what you're talking about, this is me. And she's physically trying to separate the events as if that works. But we know that that's not the case. Hey, Missy, and thank you so much, Sansi, for the super sticker. That's very kind of you. Thank you.
That's where it has to click at some point.
And that's what I listened to you do that to Al, to where you're making him guess what happened to Ganon.
I don't want him to guess.
Well, no, you're asking me to guess.
No. I was asking a question, sir. I wasn't trying to get you to guess. I was just saying,
you were
asking a question. I want help with people understanding. I tried to give any insight, help, clues, anything, but I can't because they know my daughter, everyone, my family, my mom, everyone. And you can think that.
But right now, Leticia, I mean, you can go down that road, but it's not going to save you in court because you're the last adult with him. So, and nobody else. Just let me try to protect you. I'm not trying to hurt you here. This is actually protecting you. If you don't tell us where to go investigate, then nobody's going to investigate for you. You're the last adult with him. You told a lot of lies about all these injuries from his foot.
I didn't tell lies to you or to any police officer.
Okay.
Did a sex assault happen in the house?
I didn't tell any lies to you or a police officer. Okay.
So we don't have anybody to chase though if we don't chase you. Do you understand?
But if you chase me, okay, and you do this to me, people are protected because you guys aren't going to protect everybody else. People are protected. Okay.
We can protect people. We can protect you, family, if this is involved. Now, I've worked South American death groups. I've worked gangsters. I've worked organized crime. None of that stuff rings true with what happened here. I mean, how is a very organized gang going to come into a house in Colorado Springs?
Who said it? A house? Why does it have to be in the house? See, that's where
he last was.
Oh.
Are you going to make me guess where he was then?
No, I'm telling you. You're not going to listen to me. See, you already just said the last was in the house.
But see, you're going back to you care what I think. You shouldn't care what I think.
I do care what you think. You want to know why? Because I care about how people think of me because I am not that kind of person.
What about Ganon, though? See, this is, again, one of the major things that even if she was trying to get away with it, she didn't take into account. How would an innocent woman, stepmother, who loved her stepson act? Even if you were charged but didn't do it. That was at least a bit of truth. I care about me. And she does care about how people see her. That's why on these calls that we listen to, she's desperately trying to control the narrative and she isolates these relationships because individually she can control them as long as they don't talk to one another.
And if you can point me to a different person, then I can help you.
I gave hints before.
But don't give me hints.
But the thing about it is, if I gave you hints, you automatically took it in an approach of thinking, oh, well, we already looked at the alarm system.
No, that's not how it works. So think about how much we've looked at you over the past month.
Okay.
I know, eyes wide
open. You
open.
give me a new name, or Quincy Brown, or whoever you want to throw, we can do that same sort of microscope. Because in here I even have what you entered in your phone. The stuff that you've entered and deleted, like blood is spurting from an arterial bleed, direct pressure not controlling.
Do what?
Now, I desperately wish we had more information regarding this Google search. And I hate that we will never know the truth about what happened to that beautiful boy and the horrors. But it's his story and it deserves to be known. We don't know when this Google search was made. And it makes a big difference. Arterial bleed. Direct pressure. Not controlling. She deleted that Google search. She had a long list of peculiar Google searches, but that's a very scary Google search because it gives us some insight into what the situation was.
And deleted, like blood is spurting from an arterial bleed, direct pressure not controlling.
Do what? I didn't look this up.
It's from your phone.
Blood is what?
Spurting from an arterial bleed.
No.
Well, somebody did from your phone. I don't like my stepson.
No.
I don't like my stepson. Should I get a divorce? I'll stalk cheating. I'll stalk Instagram. I'll stalk cheating in Colorado Springs. Catch I'll stalk cheating.
The moment you know you're fucked. I want you to observe the way she's leaning in and with her ear going like this, as if she's listening intently and isn't aware of what the Google searches are. And she's listening and leaning in with her ear, which would imply that she isn't familiar with them, right? Oh, I'm happy you got one, Jojo. But she very well is.
I'll stalk cheating. I'll stalk Instagram. I'll stalk cheating in Colorado Springs. Catch I'll stalk cheating. How to get blood out of sheets.
Out of sheets?
Mm-hmm. I want immunity.
Oh, the blood out of sheets was because we always had always nosebleeds. If I ever looked at blood out of sheets, it was nosebleeds.
And I figured it might be something.
What do you fucking know? Oh, the blood in the sheets. That was because of the nosebleeds. Really though, really, everything he just read out, and that's the best you could come up with, Keisha Lynn. Oh, right. Stupid me. The tide didn't work for that load, and I had to go to Google. Keisha. Find facial transplant near me. Those are your searches, girl. Own them. Own them. But look at her. Look, even at her body position. Oh! Look at the way she's trying to point. She's trying to take control. She's got this. In her mind, she has got this.
I want immunity.
Oh, the blood out of sheets was because we always had always nosebleeds. If I ever looked at blood out of sheets, it was nosebleeds.
And I figured it might be something.
I didn't ever look up anything about an artery or something unless it went from something else.
It's on your phone.
And I never looked up anything about my stepson unless someone else did.
The reason I brought up gangs is you looked up I want immunity because it was gang related. And this sounds like find me a new husband, find me a rich guy who wants to take care of his kids.
The new husband is just because Albert already knew that was.
What? Tell us, Tisha Lynn. What? You're an idiot because in this moment you are denying half of the Google searches while also taking accountability for half of the Google searches. You are a lawyer's worst nightmare. You either need to deny all of them or take accountability for all of them. But what you can't do is try to deny some and then say, oh, okay, hold on, let me explain to you the others, right? This is so cringe. This is so cringe. Now she's about to say, oh, find a new husband. Yep, Al knew about that, though. Al knew I was on the hunt knew, find military singles near me. He knew about that. He knew about that, though. He knew about that. Leticia, the control is slipping.
His kids.
The new husband is just because Albert already knew that was about the lady Debbie Sherrill who wanted to find a new husband after 35 or something. He picked me about Amazon.
And like a lot of these can have nothing to do with this.
It doesn't.
I get it. Can I spray paint wood?
Spray paint wood? Well, we always spray wood.
Yeah. I'm doing all the work for my stepkids and their mom doesn't help.
Oh, that bothered me. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't blame
Oh,
them.
yes, because I wanted them to be mine. Like
what about
me
it?
to be their child.
Hit and run? You Googled a lot on Leticia and traffic accident, hit and run.
I didn't hit anybody.
No? What was that?
What date was it?
I don't have a date on these. I was downloading stuff as I was coming on the plane.
Yeah, no, I don't.
My husband wants a divorce. My husband wants a baby, but I want an abortion. One day, some people will wish they treated you differently, which I get that. Parenting should be for people, not one. Quotes a suicidal person might say. I mean, these make me very sad when I read them because I can see you're doing.
Quotes a suicidal person might say. That's not about her. Please remember, one of the narratives she told was the night of the candle incident. Ganon ran into the street saying he hated his life. This is how far she went. God only knows where that monster's mind was going with different possibilities.
All the work at home by yourself.
Which I wanted to be there. Like, I wanted to totally have the kids as my children. That's the point you're not getting. Like, I wanted those kids to be saying to me that I'm their mom.
Yeah.
Like, I am the person who cares for them, loves them, everything. So you can think that.
What do you do if you suspect a person swallowed poison? Did somebody actually swallow poison?
Poison? I don't know. I always click things and read them. No one
Did somebody swallow it?
No one swallowed any poison.
Okay. You will never forgive me and treat me like a princess. You'll never know when it's too late.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I always search for things when Albert was gone.
What is an Alford plea? Did you figure out what an Alford plea was?
Alford plea?
Yeah, ALFORD.
I think someone asked me that and I probably searched it.
Do you know what it is?
Yeah.
Do you remember? What did you remember?
I don't remember. I just remember something. Because someone was writing that online. So if anyone wrote something online, I looked it up. Just like the other day, someone wrote something about FBI come in or something, and if I see something online, I always Google what someone else says and see what, like what they're saying is matching what is saying online.
Right.
So like I did that completely. I do that all the time for everything.
So if you're not willing to go with.
Observe what she just did right there. She lifts her head back and she's scratching her throat. At this point, her throat probably is starting to get tight, struggling, the anxiety, right? You start to feel like your heart is in your throat. And there's a bunch of lies coming up. That was a lot thrown on her in that moment. No, she didn't. Well, some people think she may have Bushi, but no. So she's kind of, it's indicative of all that, the lies that are coming up. So I want you to look at that. Okay?
That completely. I do that all the time for everything.
So if you're not willing to go with who took Ganon, can you at least tell me what injuries he suffered? The true ones. As far as the cut foot, was that a legit injury?
Yes.
And where did that happen?
So he was outside in the garage, and when he was outside in the garage, he was running to go help me take the trash, take the trash out, come back and help me get stuff out of the car.
Hey,
And then
Golden
he
Bro.
stepped on something, which I left the blood there. Like, I left it. Like, because Albert said, don't touch that fine wood or African wood, whatever kind of wood it was.
What did the piece of wood look like?
It's just, I don't know, like a board.
Okay. And it's still there in the garage?
I had to drive over them all the time. So, like, I always had to drive over the pieces of wood.
Right. But
Right.
you didn't take that out of the garage?
It's too big. You couldn't fit it in anything. You couldn't
Okay.
fit the pieces. The long
Yes or
boards
no,
that
Leticia?
were in the garage, you could not fit. I left. Okay, so there was the piece of board that I threw in the back of Albert's truck. And then there was the two long boards that were sitting there. So the board that was about like this size and the board that was the long boards that were sitting here. I left the long boards because that was supposed to be the fancy wood.
All he did was ask if you left it there. That is it. That's all he did was ask. Abellis, thank you so much. It's very kind of you. Abellis gifted 5 memberships. Congratulations to our recipients. Please thank Abellis in the chat if you received one. Okay, hold on. She was Helen.
And I didn't want to ruin it by trying to get the blood off of it. The other piece of wood was the wood that I threw in the back of Albert's truck.
And what was that one?
There was a bunch of pieces that were laying around that from that night, from us running through there. It was like little pieces. There was a piece about this size, maybe a couple pieces. But that had.
Thank you, Chicken Shite. I wonder if the greasy carpets match the drapes. Yuck. Why'd you make me say that out loud? But you know, they probably have like a Danny Zuko slick back kind of vibe to them, but an unintentional slick back Danny Zuko type of look, if you know what I mean.
In the back of the truck? That bigger piece?
Well, you say bigger like this. It wasn't that big.
Okay.
Yeah, it was cheap wood. Like, I knew it was not the wood that he would be freaking out about. So from Sunday, he did hurt his foot from Sunday.
And how badly was it bleeding?
It wasn't. I say Sunday, Saturday. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it was
From
Saturday.
Saturday. Albert had just left, like, to drive to the airport. He wasn't even gone long.
Mm-hmm.
He had just left to drive to the airport.
Okay. So did
Which,
it require a Band-Aid? Or?
and sorry, I was adjusting myself, which I said to you guys at the beginning of this live, please keep in mind, by Leticia's own admittance, Ganon was injured. Al left Saturday. He was murdered Monday. By Leticia's own admittance, that child was injured to the point of bleeding Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. So his death, God rest his soul, he was tortured and it lasted a very long time. It started, at least that we can confirm, Sunday into Monday. But by her own admittance, his injuries first started Saturday.
Ganon, whenever he always does something, he tries to be like, he's not like Lena where he's like, oh, I need a Band-Aid or whatever. Ganon would literally walk around with toilet paper in the middle of his toe, and it would have blood or whatever, and just run everywhere to his room or whatever.
Yeah. So what did you do on this occasion?
We literally took the paper towel, that's why I just told you about the toe, and put it in between.
So it was in between his toes is where the injury
No,
was?
it was like wrapped here.
Okay.
We had it wrapped. And I don't remember if we had a Band-Aid, to be honest. This is just what Ganon.
So that doesn't sound like a big injury.
Well, it wasn't. I mean, it was blood. There was no big injuries. I left it on the wood because I said I'm not going to clean his fine African wood.
What did it look like on the wood? Drops, streaks?
Well, what I did originally was I was trying to take water to do it, but then I realized if I put cleaner, then that wouldn't do anything but cause the wood to damage, because Albert always wanted to build things with all this wood that we bought.
I saw it.
And if I
Good night,
use
MK.
those pieces of
Yeah, we're
wood,
gonna talk
and
for a
all
couple
that
more
stuff,
minutes,
then,
then pause it.
you know.
Did you ever use that shop vac to clean up anything out there?
No, I never used the shop vac. The shop vac was never, I couldn't even like move anything with the shop. Anything that would have been used with the shop vac would have been Albert, other than the times that we brought it, which would have been weeks ago, and we did spring cleaning or fall cleaning around the house, in the corners, and that type of thing.
Okay.
So that would have been the shop vac. There was nothing I ever did and vacuumed up something with a shop vac.
Right,
Or like,
that helps me. I'm
you
just
know,
asking.
like any of that.
Right.
There was none of that ever happened.
So the burns on the arms weren't that bad. The cut on the toe or the bottom of the foot wasn't that
So
bad.
we still were able to go hiking. He was able to still go
Right.
hiking. It was bleeding on the board, but we
not
never.
after that, not all over the house, that sort of thing.
Well, he had the piece of paper and went down to his room.
Yeah.
Like wrapped around the foot. So I mean, if anything, there could have been drops of blood or something, but no.
What about the wound to the head that you talked to Al about?
So Albert was like trying to get me to say,
Okay, I'll pause it there because that's going to go into a whole nother list of injuries. So we'll pick up right here tomorrow, but tomorrow is members only Monday. It'll be open to the public, but it's members only chat. So, ooh, we're still not quite halfway. We're almost halfway. We're about like 10 minutes away from being halfway. The gaslighting is just on a whole different level, but seeing her squirm and become uncomfortable, I enjoy. I do enjoy it. So just real quickly. This is Abdul Aziz Khan. He is our missing child for tonight's live. He has been missing since November 27th, 2017, out of Atlanta, Georgia. He would be 13 years old. They show an age-progressed photo of him. He was allegedly abducted by his mother, Rabia Khalid, on November 27th, 2017. A felony warrant for kidnapping was issued for Rabia on January 2nd, 2020. Abdul may go by his middle name, Aziz. Rabia may use the last name Bergos. Again, I apologize. I don't know how to pronounce that. So there is the age-progressed photo. And then here is the photo of Rabia, who is 39 years old now. So if you or anyone you know has information, please contact the U.S. Marshals New Orleans Task Force or the Atlanta Police Department located in the blue numbers. So thank you all so much. You guys are absolutely amazing, and I really love being able to go over this with you guys and kind of pick everything out. Thank you for anybody who sent a super chat or gifted memberships. Your support is so greatly appreciated. I very much look forward coming on and doing Members Only Monday and doing part 4. So I will see you guys all tomorrow.